everyone, welcome to another unboxing. We have a fun episode for you today. We have a gem expert. He's been on the channel before. He's been in the business for a very long time. You guys always ask, how can I start my gem collection? What are the best ways to collect? How do I know which gems to collect? And so we're gonna talk about a lot of that today. So let's bring him on and introduce him to you. Hi, Jay.
Good morning. Hi.
Welcome. Everyone, this is Jay Boyle. You've seen him on the channel before.
Hi, guys.
We're glad to have you here, and we're excited to see what you have to show us.
Well, this morning I have some really interesting parcels of gemstones. Parcels are usually a good way to get into collecting. There are some venues that offer them, sometimes gem shows. There are some TV shopping networks that are famous for offering these mixed gemstone parcels. So let me bring this over and let's check this out. The reason I like parcels is because you can get an array of gemstones for frequently very inexpensive start-off money. Once you get into it, it becomes a bit of a habit.
It's addictive.
It's addictive. Once you really pay attention to what these things are, your level of fascination and love for it surprises you, and that's why it's a little bit addicting. But it's a good addiction.
Yes, I think that as humans, we're made to appreciate beauty and color, and gemstones do just that.
Perfect, exactly right.
Can I take these out of the bag?
Yes, let's do that.
So many beautiful colors here.
So take a look at this. I mean, this is somewhere around, let's call it 50, 60 carats. When you see a parcel like this, your first impression is, I think, look at the colors. You've got beautiful purple. Purple gems are not always, but frequently amethyst. It is a member of the quartz family, and it's rich and it's purple, lavender, all the way to rich purple. It's affordable and it's beautiful. And in the olden days, it was considered one of the most expensive of all gemstones, which is quite amazing. Yeah. And then you've got green, and this is a yellowish green. So there are quite a few green stones. People might think emerald, but in this case, because I've seen a lot of gems, I recognize this as Peridot. Peridot is a yellowish green, where emerald might be a slightly bluish green. And then there are some other gems, like this one right here. This is kind of a purple, raspberry red color.
Yeah.
And I recognize that as probably a garnet, probably a rhodolite garnet. Then there's these rich blue stones. I know this because I was involved in irradiating, making topaz blue. Pretty much all blue topaz, sky blue topaz, Swiss blue topaz. And then there's London blue, which is a deep kind of sapphire blue. So this is London blue topaz. So quick look, you see that, and then there's some stones in here that are very slightly tinted yellow. I would recognize those as most likely, they could be quartz, frequently colorless, sometimes slightly yellow, it goes into smoky quartz, or it could be labradorite. And so how do you begin to, I have an eye that's been practiced by buying for 42 years, so I'm an expert. And one of the properties is specific gravity. Specific gravity is what would this weigh an equal volume of water for this mass? And every gemstone has a specific gravity. The garnets generally have a specific gravity of around 4 to 4.5. So it's much denser and heavier by volume than a quartz. So if you get an equal size, and I do this and I go, oh, this is light. In fact, it feels lighter than this one. It looks even smaller. So this one is likely to be labradorite or quartz with a low specific gravity. The red stones, they feel dense and heavy. That could be a garnet. But it's a little bit of forensic thinking, because if it's red, what could it be? It could be a tourmaline. It could be a ruby. It could be a garnet. And then you look at luster, which is how much does it shine? There are some gems that have very high refractive indexes, meaning when light goes into them, it scatters it and shoots it back out because it has a high refractive index, things like zircon. So there are these different ways of looking, but you don't know what you're doing when you begin in this business. It takes a long time to really become an expert yourself. So you have to always buy from someone you trust. Really, starting a collection, Rebecca, I think, is all about buy something you love. Let's take a look. There's another box with another type of parcel.
Okay. Oh, pretty. So the first thing I thought of when I saw this was tourmaline. The combination of color, the saturations of the colors.
Multicolor tourmaline. Tourmaline is a species of gemstones that comes in almost every color. You're absolutely right. They appear to be all tourmalines. You've got pink, you've got reddish pink, you've got green, you've got kind of yellow and golden and colorless tourmaline, which is actually kind of rare. Collecting gemstones is fascinating, it's wonderful. Love and passion will naturally develop once you start looking at gems and holding them and just putting your attention on them. That's all it takes.
And I will say that's one reason why I like parcels, because your tastes and your knowledge develop over time.
Exactly.
And so you have an array of options here. You just have a lot of different elements in a parcel that you're working with that I think it just gives your collection a variety. It allows you to experience different gems at different times.
Some of these might be as little as $50 or $100. So it's an entry point where you can get many different types of gems. Here you can get 50, 60, 70 gemstones and have a chance to examine each, and you get a green tourmaline. It gives you a little sense of what green can be in tourmaline, and then you see another one and you go, well, this is a slightly different green, right? Yeah. And so it is a wonderful way to kind of put your toe in the water and just taste it a little bit and do it in an affordable way. And then one of the tools of the trade, another instrument, if you will, a gemological instrument that's very affordable, is a loupe, a jeweler's loupe. And it is a 10-time magnification, chromatically corrected so you can see the color exactly as it is, even though it's magnified. A triplet loupe. There are 3 levels of the lens. And this allows you to pick the stone up and look at it like this, and then when you start looking inside, of course, Rebecca, you know, you've got all these interesting growth structures inside the stone. Because once you begin to look inside a gemstone with a 10-power loupe, or maybe you get a microscope, and then you start looking inside gems, it's like looking into the solar system and the galaxy. It's just an amazing array of beauty and wonder. Now, there's one more box that I'd like you to take a look at this time.
I wonder what's in the next.
Let's take a look at this one, because this will give us another angle to look at gemstones, another way to appreciate gemstones.
Ooh.
These are some larger gemstones. Now, this is a type. Previous 2 parcels were faceted gemstones, meaning they were cut and polished by a lapidary and put facets on them, and they were clear. These are really cool, and they're called cabochons. Cabochons are actually very popular in fine jewelry in Europe, but the cabochons parcel like this might even be more affordable than the gem faceted parcels. Boy, look at the variety in here.
I know. And if you like jewelry making, cabochons are nice to work with, like with wire wrapping and things like that.
These are some cool stones. This, I see one in here. This is a very cool, rare stone. And I had never seen this in like first 35 years of my career or something like that. You know what this is?
I don't. Like
This is a rare stone.
It was too saturated to be Larimar.
It looks like Larimar, which is a gem from the Dominican Republic, I believe. And it has this bluish, whitish color. No, it looks like it, but this, I believe, is hemimorphite.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've only seen that in mineral specimen form.
This is a gemstone that is part natural and part man-made, in that this is real gold. This is called goldenite. And I believe the black gemstone is hornblende, almost like a chalcedony. And then the gold has been added to it, but it's actually 24 karat gold. This is so beautiful. Cool. And still affordable, which always blows my mind, because gold is gold, you know. Yes. This is called I believe, Saturn chalcedony. Chalcedony is a cryptocrystalline quartz, one of my favorite words, cryptocrystalline. And I love saying that. It's meaning tiny, tiny crystals of quartz, but packed close together, very dense and very hard and durable. And chalcedony can come in probably dozens or maybe even 30 or 40 different types. There's a reason that these were faceted and these were cut in cabochon. One of the main reasons is in Cabochon cuts, it's usually a dense gemstone that you can't see into. It doesn't have a high degree of transparency or clarity, but they can still be extremely beautiful and rare. And with faceted gemstones, it's a transparent crystal to begin with, and then when you put facets on it, it brings the light back to your eye, but it has to be clear to start with. Cabochons are frequently semi-transparent or opaque, but they still have that beauty and rarity, color from Mother Earth, and they're usually very affordable.
You have pieces like this that are intended to kind of paint a picture or have an optical effect or something where the dome or the way that the piece is created can only be achieved via cabochon.
The shape almost becomes like a picture frame so that you can present a particular pattern, and that's a really good point. So a parcel like this allows you to see an array of beauty and colors and rarity, and at the same time very affordable.
And again, with parcels, sometimes one gem in a parcel can be the price of the parcel. So you really are getting a big deal.
One thing, if you're interested in gems, get yourself 1 or 2 very good books. There are some books on the market that are not expensive, but will have beautiful pictures of gemstones and all different types of gems, and they'll have good pictures. Pictures are important because you have to learn to recognize it. And then they'll have the properties of the gemstone in the book. One of my favorites is the Sisk Gemology reference book. It's a 3-volume book by Jerry Sisk, a dear friend of mine.
When you talk about gem photography, those are beautiful pictures, so definitely worth a purchase. They're beautiful coffee table books, and very educational, so highly recommend.
And it's investment for your library for a lifetime. I'm an expert in gems, and I have several copies of this, one at home, one in my office. Whenever I pick it up, I can pick it up and open it anywhere, and I start reading, I learn something new. It's extraordinary, but at the same time, if you know nothing about, it's written in such a way it can take you from knowing nothing and keep your interest right away and teach you a lot. So it's a masterful work for an expert or a beginner, and I think it's really something everybody should have. Well, Rebecca, one more.
Okay, Jay.
This has been fun here. We'll see in just a moment.
Ooh,
yeah.
You know, this is one of the first gems that I actually fell in love with. I think because each one is unique. They're relatively affordable at large carat weights. So we have some included quartz.
There are several varieties. This is called rutilated quartz, golden rutile needles. And there's some tourmalated quartz where you have tourmaline crystals inside the quartz. These stones get part of their beauty because of what's inside them that's visible to the naked eye. So you have minerals, gemstones grown in their original mineral format, growing inside a clear or a slightly colored quartz. You've got a gem within a gem. And as you pointed out, you can get a big stone like this. A big stone with this has got like dozens of tourmaline crystals inside, long crystals of tourmaline inside the quartz. And a stone like this, maybe let's call it 15 carats. It could be 15 carats. In some cases, you could buy a stone like this for $8 to $20. And it makes beautiful jewelry too.
It's a statement.
Yeah.
I like the rutilated quartz too because it looks so like golden silky in the interior. It's very lush to me.
And then you get your loupe out. You got to get a loupe. This is one of the things. This is where the magic just it's shocking because now you can see these tourmaline crystals and their formation and their natural growth structure. I'm going to show you one other thing. This is what I travel with. This is a loupe that screws onto a mag light. It's a loupe, but with a light, and then you can focus and go back and forth.
Oh, I love that.
Loupe is critical. You got to look inside a gemstone to figure out how many inclusions it has. On the faceted gemstones, the degree of inclusions can affect the price dramatically. If it's a garnet and it's heavily included, it can be one price. If it's a beautiful garnet that is almost loupe flawless, it can be 20 times the price because the rarity factor goes up when it's clear. And the clarity helps the beauty. And in a case like the rutilated quartz, you want to see what's inside. You can see with your naked eye, but when you look with a loupe, it's a
whole new world.
It's a whole new world. It kind of blows your mind. It always did to me when I first started, and still now, even now after 42 years.
Another fun element about these parcels is you can actually purchase these parcels. So we'll put the links in the descriptions. Definitely go check those out because all of these have unique characteristics. They all have some glamour and fun of their own. So definitely go check those out. Thank you, Jay, for being on the channel with us.
You're very welcome.
We want to hear from you if you buy any of these parcels. Why don't you tell Jay thank you in the comments? And don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. Thanks for watching.
Thank you. Bye-bye.